Hi there, my name is Ed. I'm a slow sewing friend, and today I have another very late monthly sewing patterns video for you. Let's get into it. As usual, I'll go through these in alphabetical order by company name. So let's start with the Cashmerette Club. This month, the Cashmerette Club has released the Irving dress. Here's what Cashmerette has to say about the Irving dress. Throw on the Irving dress for an effortless summer look. The Irving is a midi-length knit dress with a deep scoop neckline, bra-friendly, strappy fitted bodice, and gathered skirt with inseam pockets. Top it off with removable shoulder ties, then mix and match it with the Caftan dress for over 150 possible combinations. Additionally, this month, club members can save 30% on the Caftan dress pattern. The Caftan dress pattern was released as a knit version of the Upton dress pattern, so it has just within the Caftan a ton of mix and match options. And when you bring in the Irving dress, that just expands your Caftan. And if you happen to have both, you have a ton of different combinations that you can make for your bodice and your skirt options. According to Cashmerette, the pattern difficulty for the Irving dress is beginner. This comes in the typical Cashmerette size range, which is a full bust of 33 to 62 inches. This is a multi-cup pattern as well, sewing cup sizes C to H, waist 25 to 52 inches, and hips 35 to 62 inches. For fabrics for the Irving, you want to look for light to mid-weight knit fabrics like a jersey, an ITY, or Liverpool knit. And really you want to make sure that there's at least 25% stretch both horizontally and vertically. For the bodice lining, you can either use self fabric, or if your main fabric is a little bit heavier, you can also use a lighter weight knit fabric as long as it has the same amount of stretch. Along with the discount on the Caftan as part of Cashmerette's just regular catalog, club members also get a discount this month at Screech Owl Fabrics. I haven't ever shopped at Screech Owl Fabrics, but if you're a regular, then that's certainly something you might want to consider. There's also a sew along for the Irving from Whitney at Tomcat Stitchery. Okay, I think this dress is really cute. It might not make it onto my sewing list this year for the summer, but I could definitely see myself making it. I do have a lot of really fun printed knits that I don't always know what to do with, or that I bought thinking I'm going to make a t-shirt and I'm going to have like 20 different t-shirts and all these different fun prints. But the Irving dress looks really cute and looks like a break from t-shirts. I love the wide straps. I also look at it and think probably for me, I might be able to put in a shelf bra as well and have that work out pretty well. I really like the length. That below the knee sort of midi length is something that I really enjoy on myself. They mentioned this briefly in the description, but the ties are actually little pieces of fabric that tie onto the straps. The straps don't actually tie themselves to create the strap. The straps are the straps, and you can add on that really cute detail. I absolutely love that. I get so annoyed when I have to tie straps myself because oh, then what if they're different lengths on each side? What if I didn't do it right? What if the bow looks better on this side than this side? It's a whole thing. I am so jazzed about having the option for that fun detail, but also just being able to take it off and not worry about it at all. So I definitely could see this in my future, maybe not this month or this year, but possibly next year. Based on the line drawings and the samples, this feels like a really classic silhouette that you can make it feel modern depending on what fabric you use, or you can keep it really minimal with a solid. But at its core, A tank knit dress with a gathered skirt is always going to look really cute. Up next, we have our charm patterns that were released on the Patreon this month. There were 2 released right away at the beginning of the month. One of them is the Elizabeth Caftan, and here's what Charm wrote about it. Nothing says confidence and sophistication more than the Elizabeth Caftan, inspired by the legendary Elizabeth Taylor. With a shaped front fit for a goddess and an elastic interior belt, you'll be able to flounce or lounge in both comfort and style. The Elizabeth Caftan has a gathered, self-lined front bodice with an external, internal belt for shaping. The caftan is designed with significant ease in the waist and hip, but is fitted at the front, shoulder, and bust. The shorter caftan makes a perfect summer poolside cover-up, and the longer version can be a stunning evening gown in silk or a dramatic day dress in rayon challis or cotton lawn. The Elizabeth Caftan has been released in Charm's full size range, so a full bust of 30.5 to 62 inches, a waist of 24 to 56 inches, and hips of 36 to 64 inches. However, just from the description, your full bust is probably the most important measurement here, as your waist and hips will have a lot of ease throughout the caftan. For fabric, there's quite a few fabric recommendations. So the biggest thing is lightweight drapey fabrics. So thinking rayon challis, cottons like lawn, batiste, voile, voile, it's the V1, and sateen, silk chiffon, crepe de chine, crepe, habotai or charmeuse, lace, and embroidered or beaded tulle can also be used. And then for sheer fabrics and lace, it is recommended that you use silk organza instead of fusible interfacing for the structure at the front belt. For lace and delicate tulle, you might also want to underline the shoulder yokes in organza as well. For a nude illusion look, you'll want to make sure to pick an organza that matches your skin tone. There are some extra notions that you're going to need for this pattern, so make sure to check the instructions before starting. When I was reading through, I noticed they were asking for 2-inch wide plush elastic, a 2-inch tall bra back closure, and then for optional extra sparkle, you may also want to look for beaded appliques for the shoulder yokes and the belt. This is another pattern that I love. I think it's so cute. I love a flowy dress that feels oversized but is chic, and I think this is it. No surprise since it's inspired by Elizabeth Taylor. There are a couple things I really like about this. I'll say, first of all, I was just stunned when I saw the pink and blue swirls at caftan. I thought that fabric and pattern pairing were just a match made in heaven. So just super stunning there. What I do also like is that Charm has shown a couple ways to add embellishments into their pattern. That's something that I really struggle with, is to know when should I add lace or when should I add an applique? What should I do with trim? And the samples here actually show embellishment opportunities, which is so fun, and for me, something that I could certainly look at and copy or replicate within my own stash and look for trim that could match that. So I mentioned it, but beaded appliques for the shoulder yokes and for the belt. And then also on the shorter version, you'll see on the sleeve opening that Gertie is wearing, there's a pom-pom trim. And I thought that was so much fun, along with using the selvage as the hem. So there isn't a hem on the shorter one. I thought those are both so much fun and definitely something that I can try out myself. Lastly, I do look at this and I think the longer versions are stunning, but you're going to take 3 steps and trip all over yourself. And that's going to be a real bummer because I think it's quite clear that all of these models are also wearing 4-inch heels. And it's just, you're going to sprain an ankle, if not shatter a kneecap, which will be like, ugh, that's like weeks and months of recovery and physical therapy probably. So do make sure if you sew this up, also speaking to myself, to just check the length. There's no reason why this caftan should be dragging on the ground if you plan on walking anywhere or going up and down stairs at all or doing anything outside of standing. If you're going to make this and stand in it and maybe just sort of stand on a pedestal, great, do it, yes. If you're thinking of making this as I am, and then going and like existing in your day-to-day life, yeah, just check the length on that. The second pattern this month from the Charm Patterns Patreon is the Pride Caftan. So coming up in June, it's Pride Month. I'm so excited for it. I love celebrating Pride. And according to the website, here's the description. This unisex one-size-fits-most caftan is a special gift to our patrons to celebrate Pride Month, and it's such an easy garment to sew, you'll be able to whip it up in no time. While it may only have a few pattern pieces, it oozes style and glamour. The unisex Pride Caftan is a flowy garment designed with significant ease, and this pattern will fit most people. The Pride Caftan comes in 2 lengths, with or without a dramatic thigh slit. The simple design is perfect for showcasing border prints, lace, chiffons, and other wild fabrics. Whether you're looking for a beach cover-up or a luxurious and comfortable evening gown, this pattern is for you. As a first bonus, Charm released the Pride Caftan early in the month so that people would have time to make it up for Pride Month. And as a second bonus, Charm has created and released a Pride collection of fabric on Spoonflower. So you can create the long caftan in the Pride flag raise or trans flag raise designs, and you'd want to purchase 4 yards of the long panel mirrored. And then for the short caftan, you would want 2 yards of the short panel mirrored. If you'd like to use other fabric, what you'd be looking for is, again, a lightweight drapey fabric. So rayon challis, cottons like lawn, batiste, poplin, voile, and sateen, silk chiffon, crepe de chine, crepe, habotai, or charmeuse. Lace and embroidered tulle can also be used. One of the samples is a very glittery and glitzy sheer fabric that looks lovely. I also really like this caftan, even though it doesn't have the same kind of shaping as the Elizabeth caftan. What I like about this is that I think this would be a great pattern to sew for someone else. As in, this could be a great pattern to gift to someone. And since it is one size will fit most, that means that you don't have to take any measurements. You can lean into whether they want something longer and more glamorous or whether something shorter would be more appropriate. And then you can pick fabric that really lines up with maybe the style or colors that your recipient would enjoy. So I really like that from just, I'll say, a gifting perspective. From am I going to wear it perspective, unsure. I do prefer the Elizabeth just for the shaping pieces, but I could certainly see myself trying out the shorter version and comparing the Pride short version with the Elizabeth short version for the caftans. I will say, quick note, if you have, I want to say it's the Charlie caftan from Closet Core Patterns, that looks really similar to the Elizabeth one. So if you already own that pattern, you could probably skip this month. However, I will say Charm is known for their, that elastic belt that creates that shaping for the front, but keeps the back really free and flowy. And that definitely could be a neat technique for you to learn if you enjoy making caftans. But of course, always up to you for what you think your pattern collection needs. I myself am very excited to add both of these caftans into my collection. Speaking of closet core, let's talk about the closet core crew pattern for May, and that's the Claire shorts. The Claire shorts continue closet core's journey through the decades of fashion history, and this month the shorts pay homage to designer Claire McCardle, who really created functional sportswear in the 1940s. Fashion-wise, the 1940s was a period marked by utility, function, and fabric rationing. So clothing needed to get the job done while using a minimal amount of yardage. So all of that was kept in mind when designing these shorts, and they are loaded with thoughtful details inspired by the utilitarian uniforms and hard-working garments from that time. Tailored and polished, Claire has an ultra high-rise, wide waistband with belt loops, classic button fly, and a refined cuffed hem. Shaped with darts in front and back, you'll love the roomy tabbed pocket that wraps around the front and over the side seam. While these shorts take inspiration from the 40s, they feel just at home today, whether they're paired with a crisp button-up for the office or your coziest sweatshirt at the campfire. Made for summertime bike rides, gardening, and traveling, the pockets will keep you organized and ready to go at a moment's notice. A classic shape and silhouette that ages beautifully and lasts forever. This pattern is rated intermediate for its difficulty, and that sounds totally true to me. Belt loops, a button fly, pockets that wrap around, that all sounds very intermediate and like a fun challenge. This has been released in Closet Core's full size range, and since they're shorts, we probably only care about the waist and hips. So the waist is 24 inches to 53 inches, and the hips are 33 inches to 63 inches. From a fabric recommendation, you'll want to choose bottom weight fabrics such as cotton, denim, twill, canvas, jacquard, or gabardine. And there's a whole blog post that Closet Core has done for fabric inspiration for the Claire shorts. So they'll give recommendations for olive green, denim, different colors, and khaki. Additionally, you can look at the Claire kits from Core Fabrics, which is Closet Core's sister fabric company, and that includes the fabric, the buttons, and the thread, although you will have to add top stitching thread to your order because that is sold separately. And as a reminder, Unlimited crew members enjoy a standing discount at Core Fabrics, and you can get 15% off of any order of fabric, notions, tools, or kits in the shop, as long as you are an annual member. Closet Core has also released some videos and tutorials to accompany the Claire shorts. First of all, there's the design story. It talks about the inspiration and process from Closet Core about the Claire shorts. There's also pants fitting adjustments that you can check out in a blog post. And then finally, tips for perfect top stitching. There's a lot of top stitching in these shorts, so you'll want to make sure to check out all of those tips. And finally, if you are not a wardrobe or designer historian, but you are in the sewing community and the name Claire McCardle rings a bell, that might be because this is not the first sewing subscription to pay tribute to Claire McCardle and her designs and impact on women's fashion. The Cashmerette Club earlier collaborated with fashion historian Julie Elber to create the Rockwell dress and Carol shrug. along with the Catskills jacket. I certainly feel like between the Rockwell dress, Carol Shrug, Catskills jacket, and the Claire shorts, you could certainly sew up a lovely Claire McCardle capsule wardrobe that could take you through quite a few different activities. All right, here are some quick thoughts on these shorts. I think they're so cute. I don't normally wear shorts, but I want to wear these shorts. I think the structured fabric really appeals to me. I also love the cuffed hem. The pocket, I'll say shockingly, might be a little bit big for me, but that's okay. I love that they're belt loops. I think they did the cutest thing on the khaki sample with embroidering Claire on the belt loop. Oh, I thought that was so adorable. But they just look like they fit really nice. They look super versatile. Would I wear these into my office? No, absolutely not. But I would certainly wear them out to other places in the afternoons and evenings and on the weekends or to work from home, which honestly I'm doing 5 out of 5 days a week. So that would be great. But I look at these and I think, oh, wow, I totally want to make these shorts. And there's even one of my sewing friends who's in a sewing group that I'm a part of is working on a toile for them, and they look so cute on her. So I'm definitely thinking at some point I might make these shorts, even knowing that I'm not really a shorts person, but maybe I want to be, and maybe these shorts could be it. Wouldn't that be so exciting? Anyways, I'm very tempted to order the Claire kit from Core Fabrics, and I think they have a burgundy, and I just think that would look so pretty, and I could see something like that working really well in my wardrobe, but I could also see something like a dark green, like a deep forest green being really stunning for shorts as well. This month, as usual, Seamwork has released 2 patterns. The first is the Yarrow tiered skirt. And here's what was on the website. The Yarrow skirt is the perfect blend of effortless style and skill-building fun. This 2-tiered midi-length skirt features an elastic waistband for all-day comfort and a flattering fit. The pleated hem adds graceful movement and is a great opportunity to practice sewing pleats. Rectangular panels make it ideal for showcasing border prints and eyelet fabric. Inseam pockets at the waist seam add function to this fashionable skirt. Yarrow is an approachable project with polished results, perfect for leveling up your sewing skills in style. Seamwork has marked this pattern as advanced beginner, and I think that makes a ton of sense. An elastic waistband skirt is a beginner project. Once you bring in gathering and pleats, I think that makes a ton of sense to bump it up to advanced beginner. Still, as mentioned, very approachable and very doable. This skirt is released in Seamwork's full size range for waist of 24 inches to 53 inches and hips of 34 inches to 64 inches. For your main fabric, you'll be looking for lightweight woven fabrics such as linen, cotton lawn, cotton voile, cotton gauze, shirting, chambray, gingham, Swiss dot, rayon challis, rayon crepe, or silk. Yarrow also gets the member bonus this month, and the member bonus is a breezy 3-tiered design. Each tier adds volume and flow, offering a great opportunity to practice gathering while creating a beautiful, wearable result. The midi length keeps the look modern and versatile. I'll say in the line drawings, it looks like the member bonus skips the pleated hem, but you could certainly add it to the 3rd tier or really any tier that you want because it's your skirt and your pattern. Okay, here are some thoughts on the Yarrow. It is a tiered gathered skirt. It's elastic waist. You can find tutorials online for this. for free. So I don't look at this and think that it's something that I have to have. But I think it's a great beginner project if you are looking for something to really hold your hand through the process of maybe making your first or second garment. For me, I'll say I look at this pattern and there's a couple things that I'm not a huge fan of. There's no top stitching on the elastic waistband, which for me just looks like it's gonna shift a lot. Even if you stitch in the ditch on the sides to keep the waistband in place. So I really like top stitching the elastic. I think that gives a clean professional look and keeps things in place really nicely. And then I also was looking at the plus size model in the white fabric, and it just looks like there isn't enough room in the hips, particularly behind, on the back of the skirt, on the rear, that it's kind of getting caught on her butt, basically. So the skirt is like clinging to her butt in a way that the straight size model isn't seeing that same issue. I don't know if they didn't make the right size or if it's maybe not graded particularly well for those measurements, but I did notice that when looking through the photos of the pattern. I'll say I also I'm not a huge fan of the skirt just in general. I do like a tiered and gathered skirt. That's not the issue. I don't know if I like a two-tiered and gathered skirt with just two of the tiers. I sort of look at it and think that maybe something is missing. And without the third tier, I think the placement of that first tier looks a bit awkward. And you can see in some of the samples that that placement is done specifically to give enough room for pocket access. Totally makes sense, totally happy for it. But just with only two tiers, I think it looks a bit odd. Once you look at the member bonus samples that are in a pattern fabric and in an eyelet fabric, I think those samples look so much better. And I think it's maybe just I don't particularly enjoy the fabrics that the initial samples were made out of. The white, it looks like a cotton poplin, just from my guess, mildly educated guess for both samples. And it's just not for me, right? I will also say I have the True Bias Mauve skirt, and so I don't need another tiered and gathered elastic waist skirt. I've made the Mauve skirt before. I really like it. I have plans to make more. I already have it cut out. So I look at this and I think this isn't something that I need. I could totally see this pattern being useful for someone. That someone just isn't me. The second Seamwork pattern is the Rosa V-neck elastic waist dress. On the website, here's how Seamwork describes it. Effortlessly stylish and perfect for skill building, the Rosa dress sewing pattern is a must-have for confident beginners and beyond. This pullover design features a flattering V neckline, short cut-on sleeves, and thoughtfully placed elastic casings at the high bust and waist for gentle shaping without zippers or buttons. 3 rows of elastic at the waist provide comfort and definition, while the A-line skirt drapes gracefully below the knee. Inseam pockets at the waistband add everyday practicality. Rosa is the ideal project to hone fundamental sewing techniques while creating a dress that moves with you. Easy to sew and easy to wear. Seamwork rates this pattern difficulty as beginner, and I totally agree. This looks so easy to sew, and it looks like it has such a great payoff. So I would absolutely agree. This could be a super great first project or second project for someone coming in and wanting to level up some of their sewing skills. The Rosa does come in Seamwork's full size range, which is a full bust of 32 to 60 inches, a waist of 24 to 53 inches, and hips of 34 to 64 inches. For your main fabric, we're going to recommend lightweight wovens, so cotton lawn, cotton voile, cotton gauze, chambray, ginghams, Swiss dot, linen, rayon challis, rayon crepe, and silk would all work beautifully for the Rosa dress. Okay, I think this dress is so cute. I really like it. It's very on trend, and frankly, there are a ton of dresses that have been released with a really similar silhouette or concept of dress with multiple elastic casings at the waist. So Silver Saga pattern anything will probably have something like that. The Itch to Stitch Camillus dress is similar. The Cinch Me I'm Dreaming dress is similar. I'm looking through some things, and the Chalk and Notch Haze dress, similar. So this is, I'll say, from a sewing pattern perspective, super on trend. And this looks like it's low effort for high payoff from a garment perspective, which I'm totally into. All of those patterns that I mentioned will all have slightly different features and slightly different fits depending, on what block that you use and what pattern it is. So if this is a style you like and you have a Seamwork membership, this could really be worth it to just try it out. They do say it's a beginner level dress, so theoretically it should sew up very quickly. And if you like it and you want slightly different style lines or a slightly different look, absolutely go, right? Get the pattern that you really want, knowing that it's a style that you like and that will work for you. As mentioned, actually, don't know if they mentioned this in the description, but because of the style lines, this is probably another great dress to feature probably some large prints. You could also do a border print on this one. One thing that I did notice is that there is a seam line in the middle for the V-neck. I think that's done for ease since it's a beginner pattern difficulty, and that would make it much easier to have that seam there to create the V-neck. I personally am not a huge fan of middle seams on me, but I think I could be swayed for this dress. I just think it's really cute. I think you could do a lot of pattern hacking with it as well. There are some dresses that I really like that have that elastic waistband and then have a fuller skirt. So I think that's something you could absolutely do with this Rosa dress. All right. We've reached the end of the May sewing subscription pattern releases. I'd love to know which one is your favorite. Are you planning on getting any of them? Do you already have them? Are you excited about any of them? Have you sewn any of them up, considering that in 2 days it's like going to be June, so I am super late at releasing this. It turns out May and April were super busy months for me. I mean, you don't care, but I'm not good at doing these videos on time yet. I'm good at other things. I'm good at my job. I'm good at Excel. That doesn't help me with this particular project, but I'm working on, positive self-talk right now. Anyways, let me know if you're excited about any of these patterns. I feel like I'm excited about so many of them. I think this was a really good month for the sewing subscription patterns. The Irving dress as a knit dress, midi length, super cute. The Elizabeth Caftan looks so glamorous, and I really want to flounce and lounge around my house in that. The Pride Caftan looks great for any gifts or sewing for others that you might have coming up. The Claire shorts, I don't wear shorts and I want to make these shorts. And then the Rosa V-neck dress, that looks so cute, and it feels like it might sew up really quickly and just have big sewing payoff. So it's hard for me to even pick a favorite this month. I think if I had to say the dress that I guess I just gave it away, didn't I? The pattern that I would be most excited about sewing up this month would probably be the Elizabeth Caftan, followed by the Rosa dress. And I hope I can get them done. I think that would be so much fun. But if not, I'll definitely add them to the sewing queue. I have plenty of fabrics that could work well for both of these, so I would be very excited to sew them up and to start wearing them. All right, with that, let me know which one you're most excited about, or if you've even sewn some of them up already. I would love to see them and to cheer you on in your sewing journey and the projects that you're working on. Thanks so much for spending some time with me. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have such a fun time sewing, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, I guess don't forget to subscribe. If this was fun, if this was interesting to you, if you thought this was helpful, you can subscribe to my channel. It's free. All right. Okay. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.